Some betrayals happen when you're most vulnerable. My name is Rachel Morrison. I am 28 years old. 8 months ago, my mother-in-law looked me in the eyes while I was 7 months pregnant and told me I had 24 hours to get out of her house. Not because I'd done anything wrong, but because my husband was deployed overseas, and without him there to defend me, she decided she didn't want me anymore. She said, "This is my house. You have until tomorrow morning." I was 7 months pregnant, $2,000 in savings, nowhere to go, no car. I left the next morning, ended up in a women's shelter, gave birth alone because my husband couldn't get emergency leave. But what my mother-in-law didn't know was that I'd documented everything. Every text, every email, every witness. When we took her to court, when the judge read the verdict, her face went white. Before I tell you what that judge ordered her to pay, hit like, subscribe for legal justice stories. Drop your city below. My mother-in-law, Patricia Morrison, raised my husband, James, alone, sacrificed everything. But she decided no woman would ever be good enough for him. When James brought me home 5 years ago, she made that clear. Every answer I gave was met with subtle put-downs. "You're a nurse, not a doctor, but nursing is respectable." "You rent? At your age, I'd bought a house." We got married. She complained about everything at our wedding. For 2 years, we lived on base at Fort Bragg, saw her rarely. It was manageable. Then James got deployment orders. Afghanistan. 9 months. 2 months before deployment, I got pregnant. We were thrilled. Patricia said, "That's unfortunate timing." 3 months later, we had to leave base housing. 30 days to move. James was deploying in 3 weeks. Patricia offered, "Rachel can stay with me during deployment. I'll help." James thought it was perfect. I was hesitant, but I was 5 months pregnant with nowhere to go. We agreed. I moved in 2 weeks before James deployed. The first week was fine. Then James left. Everything changed. 3 days after deployment, Patricia came into my room. "I need you to understand the rules. This is my house. You're a guest. Also, I need $500 a month for rent." I thought this was family helping family, but I had nowhere else to go. I paid. Week 2, the criticism started. "You left a dish in the sink. You're watching TV too long." I tried to be invisible. Didn't matter. She found reasons to complain. Month 2, I was 6 months pregnant, having trouble sleeping, having cravings. I made toast. Patricia wrinkled her nose. "That smell is disgusting. Eat something else." She was policing what I ate while 6 months pregnant. Month 3, 7 months pregnant. Large, uncomfortable, having contractions. I asked if I could skip cleaning the bathroom. "I'm having contractions. The doctor said rest." She said, "You're not sick. You're pregnant. Clean the bathroom." I cleaned it. Had contractions for 3 hours. Terrified. Patricia wasn't home. I called her. "Should I go to the hospital?" "You're overreacting. Just rest." Throughout this, I paid $500 monthly, bought my own food, cleaned the house. Then came the breaking point. I was on a video call with James. He asked how things were with his mom. I hesitated. It's hard. She's difficult, but I'm managing. Patricia must have been listening. After I hung up, she stormed in. You just couldn't help yourself. You had to complain. You're turning my son against me. You need to leave. Patricia, I'm 7 months pregnant. I have nowhere to go. That's not my problem. You have 24 hours. I begged. She said no. James tried calling her. She wouldn't answer. He texted, begging her to let me stay. She responded, I've made my decision. She's disrespectful. The next morning, I packed, 7 months pregnant, alone. I took an Uber to a women's shelter. $40 I couldn't afford. Living in a shelter while 7 months pregnant is hell. Clean, safe, the staff were angels, but still a shelter. Bunk beds, shared bathrooms, communal meals. I applied for every assistance program, WIC, Medicaid, emergency housing vouchers. James called, devastated. You're going to request emergency leave. They won't approve it. I'm not in danger, just homeless. During those 6 weeks, I documented everything, saved every text from Patricia, every email, bank receipts showing rent payments. I contacted witnesses who'd seen how she treated me, her neighbor who'd heard yelling, James's cousin who'd witnessed her calling me lazy for napping while pregnant. I researched tenant rights. Even though I was family, I'd been paying rent. That made me a tenant. North Carolina law requires a minimum of 30 days' notice for eviction. She'd given me 24 hours. She'd illegally evicted me while pregnant, while her son was deployed. At 37 weeks, I went to labor, took an Uber to the hospital, labored 14 hours, gave birth to Emma alone at 3 a.m. Beautiful, healthy, 7 pounds, 2 ounces. The nurses asked, Is someone coming? My husband is deployed. I'm alone. I stayed 2 days, then back to the shelter with a newborn. 3 weeks later, James came home, met his daughter in a shelter parking lot. He held Emma and cried. We're not just cutting her off, we're taking her to court. We met with lawyer Angela Torres. She reviewed everything. Strong case. Illegal eviction. You paid rent. She gave 24 hours. Law requires 30 days. That's an illegal eviction. We filed. Claims, illegal eviction, emotional distress, negligence. Amount requested, $65,000. Patricia was served at work. She turned white. She hired a lawyer. He called offering to settle, $5,000. I said, no. I want a judge to hear what she did. They offered $10,000, then $15,000. We said no each time. Her defense, I wasn't a tenant, just a guest. Money was contribution, not rent. I chose to go to a shelter. Angela shredded those arguments. I had receipts showing payments labeled rent in Patricia's texts, correct? Yes. Did you know accepting rent creates a tenant relationship? I'm not a lawyer. Did you give 30 days written notice? No. Did you consider evicting a 7-month pregnant woman might be dangerous? I thought she'd figure it out. She ended up in a homeless shelter. Is that figuring it out? Patricia didn't answer. The judge called a recess. 30 minutes later, returned. The judge looked at Patricia. Miss Morrison, you entered a landlord-tenant relationship when you accepted rent. You provided 24 hours notice. The law requires 30 days. That's an illegal eviction. But beyond the legal violation, what you did was morally reprehensible. You evicted a 7-month pregnant woman while her husband was deployed overseas. She ended up in a homeless shelter, gave birth alone. I'm finding in favor of the plaintiffs. Miss Morrison, you're ordered to pay $5,000 in compensatory damages for shelter costs, $15,000 in emotional distress damages, $30,000 in punitive damages. Total, $50,000, plus court costs. Additionally, a permanent restraining order. No contact with Rachel Morrison without written consent. She banged her gavel. What you did was unconscionable. Patricia was sobbing. We walked out. James said, "It's over." That was 4 months ago. Patricia paid in full, $50,000 plus $4,000 court costs. We bought a house, our own house, near Fort Bragg. Emma is 9 months old, happy, healthy. Patricia has tried to contact